Okay, so this is the beginning of our figure studies segment of the semester. And what I'm about to do is I'm going to go through a couple slides, or not really a couple, quite a few. And I'm going to show you different examples of artists throughout art history who really got figure proportions right, and those who did not, but were also still considered the greats. And we'll also talk about why learning figure studies is so important. So, just know from here on out, we have talked about hands. We're moving into figure studies, and then after this, we're going to be working with portraits. So, there's a large chunk of art too where we really focus on the human anatomy. So, let's go ahead and get started here. So I'm going to show you, again, different examples. Also want to clarify that a lot of this artwork is from the Renaissance, so there's a lot of biblical scenes in here, and a lot of references to that. So I'm going to show you these two artworks first. Both of these you should be pretty familiar with, and I want to know, do you know who the artist is? I'll give you a couple seconds to say it in class. So let's just do a countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So the answer is Leonardo da Vinci. Now, the old guy right here, he knew his stuff. He was really intelligent, and he was a really profound painter, especially during his time. He was commissioned a lot for portraits, and then, he painted pretty much one of the most well-known paintings of all time. And when most people think of art, they think of the Mona Lisa here. So, this guy knows his stuff. He's from Italy. He's a high Renaissance painter, and whenever you see something titled like the High Renaissance, just know it's this specific time period in the Renaissance, specifically in Italy. So, yes, he was pretty profound and well known, but that's what the High Renaissance is referring to. Now, not only was Da Vinci a painter, but he was also an engineer and created a lot of sketches and inventions for different things. So, for instance, he created a lot of weapons. He was also into learning or discovering how we could fly, or they could fly, at that time period. I don't think he ever really figured it out, but he was really on the move there, trying to figure out how someone could be airborne using wings. He was also on his way to creating a water wheel and had created several different renditions of this. And then he also created a lot of architecture as well. Not only was he a draftsman and an engineer, but he really studied the human anatomy. And a lot of the sketches I'm showing you that is displayed on the board are from actual humans. And what is said in art history is he would perform autopsies on human remains. Now, there's a lot of speculation that he stole these bodies from the morgue. Some art historians are like, no, these bodies were given to him. So there's like a lot of conspiracies on that. I don't want to go too deep into that, but just know a little bit of fun there. There's a lot of argument on how Da Vinci was able to do this. But anyway, so a lot of the sketches I'm showing you are real. So he studied a lot of exterior things and a lot of interior elements as well. Something I want to note is he's writing backwards. People like to say that he just did not want people to look over his shoulder. and know what he was writing or studying. I learned in I can't remember where I was. It was some exhibition, and they were talking about how Da Vinci really studied the heart, and he was so close. He didn't actually get it all the way, but he was so close to understanding the circulatory system. I said that so weird. But understanding the blood flow of the heart. So that's very cool. Also know that doctors still use his sketches. Now, I'm sure they're not these exact ones anymore. But yeah, so really referring to what Da Vinci illustrated here. So again, he created a lot of drawings of skeletal remains. Same with muscular. Wow, I cannot speak today. Muscular as well. And then here's some more examples. I think I already showed these, but anyway. And then he also got a lot of fetal sketches as well. So he performed, sadly, autopsies on pregnant women. Okay, and in order to do this, or in order to paint portraits accurately, Da Vinci believed that he really needed to understand what was happening underneath. Now, although I think that's true, I don't think it needs to be this extreme where we're dissecting people. But I think it is important to know our anatomy in order to correctly draw a person. I think he was completely right there. So Da Vinci did do this. He really pursued portraiture a lot, and he did this extremely well. And like I said, he was commissioned a lot, especially by very wealthy individuals, and he made some good money during that time. Okay, so I'm going to ask you these questions. You guys can talk about them as a class and pause this video. But the first question is, would it be important to understand anatomy in order to draw the human figure accurately? Why or why not? And then the second question asks, what do you think past artists did to learn how to draw the human figure other than Da Vinci? All right, to answer your first question, again, like I said, I don't think we have to do exactly what Da Vinci did, but understanding what happens in our body or how certain things are shaped and proportioned will definitely help you understand the human figure accurately or depict the human figure accurately. And then to answer this question, past artists used a lot of models. They drew themselves. They didn't have photographs back in the day. So yeah, just using that live model a lot was very helpful in order to draw the human figure. Okay, the next artist we're going to talk about is Michelangelo, and we all know him as well. He's very well known. We know him mostly for like the Statue of David, the creation of Adam here up there in the Sistine Chapel, and then the Pietà. So not only was Michelangelo known for his paintings, but also his sculptures as well. Now, Michelangelo was great, however, he did mess up just a little bit. At least I think he did. I want you to look at these women, and I want you to notice something. These women look a little bit more masculine than how other artists typically depict women. And I want you to pause this video real quick, and I want you to ask the question or answer the question, why do you think Michelangelo painted his female figures this way? Okay. go ahead and pause that video. And then I'm going to answer it in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so Michelangelo did not have a female model. So he was actually painting the form of a man and would attach a woman's face on there, essentially. Now, I don't want to say that women don't look this way. I'm just going to say that typically women, not all women, it's not very well known that we all are very muscular. Okay, now I wish I was more muscular like this. However, just know that Michelangelo did not use a female model. And this was actually popular during that time. Male models were much more well known, and females didn't really join until much later. I don't know if this was because there were restrictions or what, but I know that males were pretty prominent in that, I guess, career. Okay. And then here's another example, again, of Michelangelo's sketch, and then his painting. Okay, so these are not Michelangelo's works of art. These are artworks throughout art history, before and later after the Renaissance. And I just want you to look at these babies, okay? There's a lot happening here. And I just want you to answer, what do they remind you of, or who do they remind you of? And what is wrong here? And I'll show you some more examples. Yep. The hairlines always crack me up, which babies typically lose their hair and look like little men anyway, but yeah. I really want you to look at their anatomy. And then this one just really just gets me every time. If my baby pops out looking like this, I think I'll be terrified. So anyway, what do these babies remind you of? And you can pause this video and answer that for yourself. To answer the question I just asked, these babies are pretty much just shrunken down men, especially this little guy over here. He has the full anatomy of a grown man, but with a little baby face attached. Same with all of these. This one really shows you how they really just did just shrink down the proportion of a full human person or adult male, and created a baby. So with showing you guys this, I really just want you to know that it's important to understand anatomy in order to draw it. So you guys are about to do a lot of practices. Now, you're not going to do any sketches of babies, mostly adult figures, and I like for you guys to start there anyway, because it's much more easier to learn that first, and that's often what we draw more anyway. But anyway, you guys will be doing quite a few different drawing assignments in Google Classroom, and I will be posting different videos. The first video, I believe, that you guys will watch will be where she breaks down the figure into 8 sections or 8 heads, and that is a great starting point when drawing the human figure. Also want to point out gesture drawing, so making sure that you are very quick with your sketches at first. Now, you're definitely going to go back and define your form, but at first, in your initial drawing, be quick, be loose with it, and really try to find the correct proportions there before you start defining everything. So make sure you're gesture drawing first. Okay, so that's the end of the slides. Hopefully you got to learn a little bit about Michelangelo and Da Vinci and some crazy looking babies. And this is the start of your journey of drawing human figures. And anyway, I am excited to see what you guys create. And I hope this video is helpful. Bye, guys.